In today's trig survival guide, we're going to look at some strategies to use when verifying trig identities. This topic can be pretty challenging at first. It just takes practice and a really good toolbox of strategies to get good at verifying a trig identity. So a couple notes before we look at our strategies. First, note that you can use more than one strategy in a problem. So you may use two different strategies, you may use just one, you may use many. And of course, your strategies won't be just limited to the ones that we discuss. You may add more as you get to more advanced problems. Another great thing to notice, this can be a pro and a con. There are multiple correct solutions for each problem, each trig identity that you verify. So you may have a solution that looks different from the person sitting next to you, but they both are correct. So it's a lot of how you see it. So that's a good thing because there are many ways to do it, many ways to get a correct answer. But it can be bad because if you're looking for one right way, that is not what's going to happen when you verify trig identities. So without further ado, let's look at a few strategies. So there are some things I like to call non-negotiables. These are things that will not change, and you really need to start with these before you get started verifying. So the first thing to know is you should manipulate only one side. So as you start a problem, you'll look at both sides and kind of take stock. One side will stay unchanged and you will manipulate the other side, the side that you choose, until it looks like the other side. The second thing is to strategize. So you don't want to just dive in blindly. You want to evaluate your two sides. We've already said you'll choose one side to work on, but you'll want to think through what strategies can you use? What trig functions do you want to appear on your working side so that it matches the other? And finally, it's important to pause to assess your progress, especially if you feel like you've been spinning your wheels. Use that other side to guide, and that goes back to the strategizing. So strategize at the beginning, stop, take a step back, see where you are, and you may decide to make a change so that you can get a nice verification. So knowing this is your foundation, let's look at some strategies that can be really helpful for verifying. So our first strategy, manipulate the more complex side. So choose that side to work on. More complex, meaning it looks like it has more going on. It could be more terms, it could be more opportunities for replacement. You'll start to get a feel for the more complex side with the more problems that you work, and that usually will be the most helpful side to start on. Okay, second, substitute and simplify using your big trig identities. So I'll post a link to that video in the video description. I go through a lot of the big trig identities that'll be useful. You really want to know these well so that you start to see them as soon as you look at the problem, and they'll be candidates for replacement to help you get to where you want to be. Another strategy that can work really well is to rewrite all your expressions in terms of sine and cosine, and that can help you see where you want to go and make your verification. Some other things you could consider: if you have multiple terms, getting a common denominator can be really helpful to get you on your way. You can distribute or factor. You can simplify or combine like terms, and so you're kind of doing that with common denominators as well. And you can use conjugates. So if in a denominator or numerator you see something like 1 minus sine, you can manipulate that term, multiplying by its conjugate. You would multiply, say, by 1 plus sine over 1 plus sine. So it doesn't change the term, but may give you more to work with. And so this is, of course, not a comprehensive list of strategies, but it's a really good starting place. And as you work through more and more problems, you'll add to this as you find more strategies to work for you. I'll post several videos that show each of these strategies in action, as well as just some more worked examples of verifying trig identities. So be sure to check that out. And just remember that this is a topic that just takes a lot of practice, and the more you practice, the better you'll get and the more pieces will click into place. Good luck and thanks for watching.